Yes, I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman, Alfred.
I'm Batman.
I am Batman.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman. I'm vengeance.
Greetings, Bat Family! Welcome back to Holy BatCast, brought to you by Real Fans for Real Movies. Make sure you visit holybatcast.com or find us on social media. On Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube, just find Holy BatCast. That's us. If you love the show, you want to help support the show, you can do that on Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/holybatcast. And as always, a big, huge thank you to our patrons. You guys are amazing. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you for that. We are part of the Real Fans Podcast Network. You can check out all the shows that are part of the network at rf4rm.com. And then, as always, I am Andy DiGenova. You can follow me on Twitter or on Instagram. It's just my name, Andy DiGenova. This episode is a pretty simple one. Pretty easy going, nothing too intense, little bit of news. We are going to review the next episode of Batman Beyond because it's been time, and we haven't really dove into the Wayne Manor Mailbox a little bit, so we got to catch up on your emails in the Wayne Manor Mailbox. So really, that's the priority. The other stuff is just prelude to that. We want to catch up. Joining me for all of that and more, it's my old pal, Brendan Lowe, my Bat brother from Down Under. Hi, Brendan.
How are you, my friend?
Good. You're sounding better. You're feeling better.
I'm slightly on the mend, yes. I've been given some more drugs and a few other things this week, and I'm starting to turn a corner.
Terrific.
Because after we finished recording the other night, I was not in a good way.
Well, thanks for powering through it. We appreciate it.
Oh, don't mention it. Like I said, I look forward to it.
Well.
I just had no voice whatsoever after it.
Well, you're welcome, Jess.
Yes, very, very good.
Cool. All right. Well, last time we did talk about Superman and Lois. We talked all about the pilot episode. We've now seen What was that?
I said we sure did.
Yes, we did. We've now seen episode 2, and after only 2 episodes, the show has been renewed for a second season. So they have said that the pilot, after like the first week, had been streamed over 3 million times or viewed over 3 million times. So it's been one of the biggest CW premieres in years. So very successful. And I guess from that's where they're like, hey, then let's keep going. We'll renew it right now. Why waste anybody's time? So no biting your fingernails and holding your breath to see if we're going to get another season. We're getting another season.
I'm very happy about it, obviously, because it was no secret that I really liked the pilot. It is worth mentioning, I think. I don't know if it's because that there haven't been these shows for many, many months now. There's been a long time between seasons, much longer than usual, because COVID, obviously. But this week, with episode 2, I watched it, loved it. But straight after it, I watched the first episode of the new season of The Flash.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually quite surprised. I didn't realize it until watching them back to back, how un-CW Superman and Lois is.
Yeah.
Just in terms of the quality. I don't want to shit. I'm not saying this to shit on the other CW shows because I love them. I've watched them all. I've been following them for years. But seeing The Flash directly after watching Superman and Lois, it's a noticeable drop in quality.
Yeah, I've honestly lost track of The Flash, which is crazy, but it's just the way it's been. But I mean, we even mentioned that on the last episode. We were saying how, there was a certain formula for a lot of those shows. Not all of them. Like Legends, I've always enjoyed more than most because it's so different. It's so its own thing. But like
once it found its footing and knew what it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But like
you threw away the formula and made it its
sure.
own thing.
Sure. But like Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl, and even Batwoman to an extent all have a very similar formula, and it's nice when they break the formula. And yeah, Superman and Lois doesn't feel like more of the same. It feels like its own thing, which is great.
Yeah, and I know it's probably a term that's a little bit overused, but it has a real cinematic quality and feel to it. You know, it feels like, I guess it feels more like watching, say, a Netflix series as opposed to, you know, a CW show like, you know, The Flash or something like that. It was just, yeah, I just was really blown away because I already knew the quality was really good, but like I said, watching them back to back, it really stood out. And I was like, man, that props to them because it's still a CW show, but you know, you think it'd be a HBO Max show.
Yeah.
The quality that they've given us so far.
Yeah, well, and credit where credit is due. I also felt that way about Black Lightning, which I've also lost track of. I've pretty much lost track of everything. But Black Lightning did not feel like more of the same. But that's because they produced that for another network, and the CW adopted it. But so it's not like every show's been exactly the same.
Show here in Australia. Yeah. I have to be honest. I lost track of Black Lightning after the first season. I really liked it. I just didn't get back to it. So,
yeah.
But I do. I mean, it's on Netflix here, so I will check it out eventually.
Yeah, same here. So yeah, it's not like every single one is exactly the same. So I'm not saying that, but they're, you know, the other ones do tend to feel more like the same. And so yeah, for Superman and Lois to really feel like its own thing, much like Black Lightning felt like its own thing, I think is a great thing. And yeah, I love that people are watching it. It's great that most people seem to be really liking it. And yeah, we're going to continue getting this version of Superman and Lois and whatever they might have in store. I really liked episode 2. So yeah, it's interesting where they're going. And I just got to say what a dummy I am, because in the pilot, when they're like, oh yeah, you know, the twins, Jonathan and Jordan, I'm like, oh yeah, Jonathan Kent. And it's like Jordan. I'm like, yeah, and then Jordan, whatever. And then in the second one, they're like, oh yeah.
Dude, I missed it too.
You're named after Jor-El. And I'm like, I'm an idiot because I certainly didn't connect that.
No, I didn't connect dots either when they said, I was like, oh, duh.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. But, you know, it's great that we're going to get season 2. But I don't know if you caught too, I think it broke yesterday, that Supergirl's returning on the 30th of this month. And then Superman and Lois goes on hiatus till mid-May.
Already.
Yep. I don't know if this is a COVID thing or if it's just like a weird American TV scheduling thing, because you guys start and stop TV shows like crazy during a show's season. Like, there's so many breaks, but we've just started the show, and yeah, by the end of the month we're not going to get it for a month and a half.
That's so weird.
Which sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I do wonder, because it's a question that's come up a lot, especially with the CW DC shows, is there are so many of them, and you know, I'm grateful for that because it's a lot of great DC superhero content, but because there's so many of them, there are only so many time slots to go around. And that's how you end up with this. I feel like that's happened in the past with The Flash and Legends of Tomorrow. It was like The Flash would start the season, then it would go on hiatus, and then you'd have Legends of Tomorrow, and then The Flash would come back, and they'd kind of keep swapping. And they're essentially now doing the same with Supergirl and Superman and Lois. Like, maybe they're just out of time slots.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It could, their shooting schedule could be part of it too. I don't know, but it just, to me, it seems like if you're hitting a home run so far with Superman and Lois and people are loving it, taking it away for a month and a half, I don't know, to me it just sort of seems like, wouldn't you just keep striking while the iron's hot? Like, give people Superman and Lois, and then because I think it's only 13 episodes from memory, once it's done, give us Supergirl in one hit, so we're not losing, because it sort of gets to be like how we talk about with comics, like you put them down for a certain amount of time and then you kind of forget to either forget to pick them back up, or picking them back up seems like a lot of work.
Yeah no, and you kind of break the momentum, which could hurt them.
Momentum, that's a good word.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Is what it is, but yeah, it is kind of odd because Superman and Lois right now is very buzzy. It's just started. It just seems silly to stop right now.
Yeah, so
we'll have to wait. I guess we'll get a couple episodes and then we're going to wait again. But see, when you say, oh, it's going to come back mid-May, all I think of is I'm like, I'll be that much closer to going home.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now, everything is judged up against the timeline of me getting to go home. And coming up very soon is, of course, Zack Snyder's Justice League. So promotion is in full swing for that. Right now, it seems like every day this week we're getting a new little promotional video focusing on a different member of the Justice League. So the very first one was Batman. And every day when we're going to get the video, we also get the hashtag logos. So the first day you could hashtag Bruce Wayne or Batman and it gets the little bat symbol. The second day was Superman. And then was it Aquaman was today?
Today was Aquaman.
Today was Aquaman. And then tomorrow's the Flash. So,
oh, cool! I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so they're doing that every single day, and it's you're getting little snippets, footage, audio. So that's really been fun to watch. Every morning I wake up and I watch the new one because it usually gets released sometime while I'm sleeping.
Yep, that's what I've been doing too.
So that's really cool, because again we're getting really darn close. Now we're less than 2 weeks away. I'm really toying with taking a vacation day, just staying home. Yeah. Cause
yeah, like I said, I've got some friends coming over because it drops at like 5 p.m. here. Mm-hmm. So I work till 4 p.m. And then I got a friend or two coming over, and yeah, we're sort of just gonna get some Uber Eats and sit down and watch it. I actually have the advantage too if I don't have an early start the next day. I'd already had half the day booked for leave anyway because we have a guided tour of the hospital. So we know sort of, where to go and what to do when Bub decides to come. So I can sleep in a little bit. But no, I'm pumped.
Nice. Yeah, well, so wait, it's coming at 5 p.m. your time on Friday?
Thursday.
Or Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday the 18th.
Yeah, but is it the 18th for us?
Yes. Yes, like all our ads for the streaming service here in Australia, Binge, it's dropping on Thursday the 18th.
Okay. I gotta check and see what time it's gonna hit here, because that's gonna determine it. Because I thought it was gonna hit again sometime late on my Thursday, where I wouldn't be able to watch it Thursday night. I'd have to watch it Friday. So I was like, I'll take Friday off and just watch it during the day.
Yeah, because I don't know, like 5 p.m. my time in Brisbane, I don't know what that is American time. I'm assuming it's quite early in the morning.
Yeah.
So unless HBO Max are dropping it like at midnight.
It could be. If it's midnight, then that would make sense that it would be like our evening and then at midnight.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm assuming that. I mean, I'm sure the, people in the States will know, but yeah, it's definitely 5 p.m. It's either 5 or 6 p.m. my time.
Okay.
It's a bit tricky with daylight savings. There's a few different time zones in Australia at the moment, but it's early evening is when it's dropping, and yeah, we're planning on making a night of it.
Nice. I mean, if that's the case, then it'll hit 2 hours earlier here, so it'll hit late afternoon here. So, yeah, maybe I don't have to take the day off. I'll just watch it that night.
Yeah.
So
take the day off anyway.
I mean, yeah.
You can do a Man of Steel and BVS marathon.
Oh, God, I would like to. There's just so much work I have to do. So anyway, the promotion it's happening. We got additional imagery, posters. I gotta say, just between us friends, I don't love that every promotional image is in black and white. Like, why does it have to be in black and white?
Yeah, they're really pushing the black and white, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't want it in black and white. I want my Justice League in color. I don't get it. Yeah, I think that's a bit much, but whatever. As long as the movie's in color, I'm more excited. But they even said they're going to release a version of the movie in black and white, and I'm like, no thanks, I'm good. Yeah, I'll just watch it in color.
Zach reckons it's his favorite version of it, so
okay, but I'm good. I'd rather see my superheroes in color.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah, like the black and white thing. I'm just like, I don't get the obsession with it. I don't see how it improves anything personally. But anyway, so yeah, I've been a little disappointed with some of the promotional images because it's like they're all in black and white, and I want to see my superheroes in glorious color. So anyway, those promotion is continuing to happen. There's been like GIFs and then the videos, but we also got chapter titles for the movie. And it appears to be cut into 6 chapters. So again, for the people who want to treat it like a TV show, they have 6 chapters. For people who are just going to sit there and watch it all, you can do that too. I will probably just sit and watch it all.
Yes, well, at least for the first time.
Yeah. But this is, I mean, what'll be interesting, though, is on the streaming service, will it be cut into 6 episodes, or will these chapters is it just one file and the chapters just pop up at the right time?
That's what I'm assuming. I'm assuming it'll be you watch it as a movie, and then, like a title card or something will pop up. Or, Yeah.
So, yeah, just curious. All right, so here we go. Here are the chapter titles. Part 1, Don't Count on It, Batman. Part 2,
Interesting.
The Age of Heroes. Part 3, Beloved Mother, Beloved Son. Part 4, Change Machine. Part 5, All the King's Horses. And Part 6, Something Darker.
Intriguing.
Yes. I mean, I dig it. I'm into all of it. I haven't spent a lot of time trying to speculate what it means. Plenty of other people have. I'm just like, cool. Sounds good. Sounds great. Can't wait to see what it means when I watch the movie.
The Don't Count on It Batman sounds a bit 66-ish, doesn't it?
Yeah. Kind of does, but I'm into it. I like that. There was something, I don't know if you saw this, and honestly, another thing, I almost don't want to mention it because I didn't dig deep into it, is that Zack shared some storyboards for ideas for Justice League parts 2 and 3.
I haven't seen it either, but I saw like a little bit of chatter about it.
Exactly. I've seen people talk about it, but I didn't dive deep into what it is. But yeah, like there's this exhibit going on in Dallas, Texas with a lot of costumes and artwork and stuff like that, which is awesome. People in Dallas send us photos. I'd love to see it. But I guess as part of that exhibit, he also put up storyboards for some of the ideas for the next 2 films. And so a lot of people did dive deep and do like extensive breakdowns. I didn't. Part of it's time, part of it's like, well, I want to, if it happens in some way in some media, I want to know what it is then. And I guess Zack Snyder even said like, oh, it's not exactly what it's going to be because it was just some early ideas of what it could be. That could have evolved or changed over time. So he said it wasn't necessarily spoilery, but anyway, it was interesting nonetheless.
Yeah. I have a question. How are you feeling like as of, now essentially with the lead up to the movie? Because for me personally, I have a feeling you're probably in the same boat, but like I've been looking forward to it. Like there's no question. But the last couple of years, all the Snyder Cut stuff, it's been kind of exhausting. So I'd been looking forward to it, but I was also kind of overhearing about it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, the last, probably since maybe around the time we recorded last week, actually, I don't know, like something just kind of ticked over in my brain, and I've actually started to get really psyched, like how I would be if this were a new Justice League movie coming to the cinema. Like I've been getting really pumped for it, really lapping up all the promotional stuff. I even bit the bullet and bought the release of the Snyder Cut book by Sean O'Connell. Not available physically here in Australia yet, but I grabbed it on my Kindle app. I've been reading that because I just sort of wanted to really get in the zone. Really good book so far. It's not as... I was worried it'd be very, more of the same stuff that's kind of been bugging me not bugging me, but it's been overwhelming me the last, couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
But the way it's written, it's really good. So I would recommend it. But yeah, I've just been really soaking it up and really getting psyched. So I was just sort of curious to see if, you're sort of starting to get that way as well.
Yeah, I really am. I think that's very accurate. I'm so excited about the movie. I've literally, counting down the days, which is great because we're getting essentially a brand new Justice League movie, and it's not just and it's a 4-hour Justice League movie. So yes, as far as the movie itself, I'm so excited. I am counting down the days. I can't wait. That's why I'm like, I'll take a day off. I'll make a day of it. So yeah, I'm super excited. But you're right. Like there was so much baggage in and around it that it does sort of. It's tainted the experience a bit, leading up to it. Whereas
which is uncommon for DC fans.
Yeah. So yeah, it hasn't been the same. But at the same time, like, I try to block all that out, and I'm just focusing on the movie itself, the content itself. And as far as that goes, I'm with you. I cannot wait. I'm so excited about it. And you're right. I've been looking at it like, yeah, we're getting a brand new DC movie in just a few days now. And you're right. It's an excitement that you usually get for a theatrical release. So yeah, I can't wait for the movie. And so I've been enjoying the videos that have been released, and the promotion leading up to it. I just saw pictures of the action figures come out, and like I'm like, those.
I saw that earlier today.
Yeah,
too.
like those are great.
I really want the black suit Superman. Like, I've got action figures of all the other characters.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. They're not that different. But I really want that black suit Superman. I have a feeling he's going to be very popular for that reason.
Yeah. I'm going to get the new Steppenwolf, and I'm going to put it with the old Steppenwolf, and I'm just going to have them hang out together and be best buds. It'll be two Steppenwolves. Those are great. I don't know how available they're going to be out here, but so just seeing all that stuff, it's just, it gets you excited. So I'm super, I mean, I know what you're saying, and it's weird because it's like, there was just so much turmoil on both sides of the argument, and I haven't been in the middle, but at the same time, like, I just haven't wanted to engage the drama. That it just made it not as fun to look forward to it. But again, I'm sort of blocking out that and just looking forward to the movie itself.
And Junkie XL, I don't know if you caught, released some more music during the week as well, but it was only a really short track. Like, I think it only might have gone for just over a minute or something from memory.
Mm-hmm.
But it was good, along the same lines of what we heard 2 weeks before that. But did you also catch that he tweeted? We were joking about it the other day, but he tweeted that there will be a vinyl release.
No, I didn't see that.
He did, yeah. I think someone, they might have tagged me, and I'm not sure if they tagged you or the show, but because they were like, how many records is it going to be? And it's like, it's 4 hours of music. Like, I mean, we joked about it, but it looks like it's coming, so I can't wait to get my 20 LP version of the soundtrack on vinyl.
Awesome. I mean, I did see that, and he also did say that the soundtrack, it drops the same time as the movie, so that's awesome. So I'll be able to watch the movie, buy the soundtrack, and then listen to it all week.
And charge up your phone and listen to 4 hours of it on Spotify.
Heck yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I'm that's great too. I'm excited. I'm honestly kind of glad it's not getting released early, because then I always have like the inner turmoil of like, oh god, like I want to listen to it, but I want to watch the movie first. So that's great.
Yeah.
Cool. Yep. Well, Zack Snyder's Justice League coming up soon. What's today? It probably won't be the next episode, but it'll probably be the episode after that.
Yeah, we need to talk off air about how we're going to cover this.
Yeah.
4-hour movie, like that's a long episode if we cover all of it in one go.
I know. We're gonna have to pull Jamie out of retirement.
Yeah, because for a normal length superhero, for a DC movie, we usually talk longer than the movie or equal to.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, we could do it chapter by chapter, but
that's what I was. Yeah.
But that's 6 episodes. We'll be talking about it forever.
I know.
Well, yeah, you're right. We got to figure it out, but it is coming right up, and that's awesome. That's exciting. So, yeah, just some little news tidbits and things as we're getting closer to the release of the film, which is awesome. But we did want to continue our journey through Batman Beyond, so here we go. We did watch the next episode of Batman Beyond. Okay, this one was Plague. It was directed by Butch Lukic. It was written by Rich Fogel. It aired on April 15th of 2000. And so we get the return of the Stalker. You remember the Stalker?
I had tried to block him out.
He's kind of like Kraven the Hunter
didn't
meets
like that
Dalsim
episode,
from
yeah.
Street Fighter.
And sounds like Martian the Manhunter.
He sounds a lot like Martian Manhunter, actually. He's back, but he's not alone. There's like lots going on in Gotham in this episode. So we have Falseface working with a evil organization called Cobra, and they're going to release a plague. And so I guess it's a government agency. It's like the FBI broke out Stalker to help them track down Falseface and stop this plague from being released. And so Batman has to team up with the Stalker to try and stop them. So he's a little worried about it, concerned, since this was a guy who wanted to hunt him not that long ago. But they have this very touchy alliance where they're going to stop Falseface and this Cobra organization. Is this the first time we've ever seen Cobra?
If we have previously, I don't remember it.
I know. What's weird is it's like I have a vague recollection of them, but I don't know if that's because we saw them in an episode and I have forgotten, or maybe I remember this episode from way back when, and so it's just sort of this vague memory. But yeah, I wasn't sure. But anyway, so that is it. Batman and Stalker do eventually stop Falseface, who manages to get the virus himself. But they do prevent the virus from reaching all of Gotham. So, Brendan, what'd you think of Plague?
It was quite a timely episode.
Right? That's such a good point. There is a moment where they talk about, like, they want to get the Plague on all of the credits because they're like, oh, these are used to buy everything and anything all over the place, and then it changes hands, and as it changes hands, it spreads the virus. And you're right, as they were talking about this, I just was like, oh man, this all sounds
too soon.
Yeah,
too soon.
This is too familiar.
Look, it was an okay episode. Nothing special. I did like that Falseface was used. Like,
yeah.
To me, like, I mean, I know he was originally from the comics, but to me, Falseface is from the '66 show. That's really the only place I know him from. So I don't know. You know, it seems to be like that might have been a bit of a nod to Batman '66, and using sort of one of the more obscure villains from that show. So I like the way they kind of made him like almost like a Clayface-esque villain. I thought that was a nice touch. The hunter, is that his name? The hunter?
Stalker.
The stalker, sorry. Yeah, I can take or leave the character. I find it funny that just pole vaults everywhere. It's like that's kind of funny. But no, like it was fine. Nothing special, nothing amazing, but it wasn't, you know, I've seen many an episode that is worse than this one. So to me, sort of middle of the road, I'd go probably a B-.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I like this one. I thought it was pretty good. What I liked about it was that there was just so much going on, and there were a lot of players here, you know, and I think the episode does a good job of juggling all those players. You know, you have a little bit of Terry's friends, and they incorporate that into the story with, oh God, I always forget his name, but the Seth Green bully character.
Yes, I was going to say one of them sounded a lot like Seth Green.
Nash? Is that right? Or did I make that up?
Possibly.
All right. Well, it doesn't matter. So, but like that, and then the Stalker is back. Like I saw the, the artwork before I watched it, and it was just the Stalker. I was like, oh, okay, Stalker returns. But I didn't remember Batman having to team up with him, so I thought that was pretty cool. I like I like it when a villain like doesn't exactly go good, but sort of ends up helping Batman, and then Batman sort of realizes that things aren't as black and white as they seem. I thought that was pretty cool. I liked Cobra. I liked the design of these guys. That was pretty neat. And then, yeah, like you said, I really liked that they wanted to use Falseface. You know, it is a somewhat, I mean, it's a kind of obscure Batman villain, but they never used him in the animated series. And so to go, well, why can't he be a Batman Beyond villain? I'm like, yeah, why not? So I thought that was kind of fun too. And you're right, there's a Clayface aspect to him without being exactly that. They still gave him his own thing. So yeah, I really liked it. And Bruce did pop up in this one. I feel like it's been a while since we'd seen Bruce, so it was nice to have him
Feels
back.
like it, yeah.
So yeah, overall, I thought it was pretty solid. I enjoyed this one.
Excellent.
Yeah. So you said a B minus. I'd say a B plus.
Okay.
Because that's always how it goes with Batman Beyond. Is you go low, I go high.
I go low. Yep. We're a good team.
All right. So yeah, that's Plague. The next one up is April Moon. Aw, that sounds nice. So
I can't wait.
when are we gonna do it? I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, that's next time. So
I can't see it happening anytime in the near future.
I don't know. It depends on what we have next week before Justice League.
True.
You know, if it's a quiet week, we could do it then.
Let's see.
We'll see. Anyway, all right. Well, there you go. Another episode of Batman Beyond. But what we really want to do is see what you guys are up to. So let's crack open the Wayne Manor Mailbox. It's time again for the Wayne Manor Mailbox.
You've got mail.
Darren, what is a letter for me?
Maybe temporary.
She wrote a letter.
You're one hell of a messenger.
This is all, Master Wayne.
All right. Here we go. First one here. It's from Tom Fallows. He always checks in with us. He says, hey guys, I was just thinking about the news of a sequel series for Batman the Animated Series, and I've got two questions. What is your favorite Batman design for the DC Animated Universe, the animated series, the New Adventures, or Justice League? Also, what would you think to a series between the New Adventures and JLU and Batman Beyond with an aging Bruce in the Beyond costume? Thanks again, Tom Fallows. Thanks, Tom. Okay, so of the Batman animated universe, what was your favorite look for Batman?
The original.
Yeah, me too. Same.
It could be a boring answer, but it's true. It just looks so good.
Yeah, I know. I agree. And then, what about an animated series that took place between Justice League Unlimited and Batman Beyond, where it's essentially like that opening scene of Batman Beyond, where it's an older Bruce and he's in the Beyond costume?
Look, I don't know if I'd want a series of it. Like maybe like a two-parter or something. But I know we sort of talked about it when this news broke about the potential new series. We were sort of all of the opinion of just, give us some more classic Batman stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Don't vary too far from the formula. But maybe a two-parter or something where they can just do like a bit of a look into the future would be okay, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it could last for a series, but it could be really interesting to sort of follow an aging Bruce and then what that looks like and how it kind of then butts up against Batman Beyond. Yeah. It wouldn't necessarily be my first choice, but I think it could be really interesting. All right. Next message is from Imad Alagoose. It says, hey guys, based on the reception of Wonder Woman 1984, what do you think would have been its overall box office numbers if it had been released without COVID? Thanks, Imad. Interesting question. What do you think, Brendan? How much do you think Wonder Woman 1984 would have made?
First one did 800 something, didn't it?
Yes.
It's tough because, like, off the back of a successful movie like that, sometimes, even though the quality dips, the box office goes up.
Yeah.
Because, more people who found look, I'm not using this as an example to throw shade, but, like, Iron Man compared to Iron Man 2. Like, Iron Man 1 is by far the better Iron Man movie, and this is before the real MCU fever had kicked off, where people just went and saw all of them. So maybe possibly around the same, if not like a fraction more. But then, it didn't have the best word of, like, the reviews were good. It just didn't have the best word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So it might have dipped a little in terms of an overall, but yeah, somewhere in the ballpark of the first one. But I think either just a little bit above or a little bit below.
Yeah.
But I'm not good at the box office judging stuff like you are either, so...
No, I do agree with you. I think you're pretty right on. Is like, I think its legs would have been shorter because the reaction was more divisive, but it would have opened a lot bigger because of the excitement about it after the initial movie. So I think those two things would more or less cancel each other out, and it would probably have ended up right around in the same neighborhood. I do think it could have squeaked past $1 billion just because of the anticipation for it and the excitement for it. So yeah, if the first one was able to do 800 and change, I don't think it would have been unreasonable to hit $1 billion.
Nice.
But I also could have seen it ending up right around where the first one did because, not everybody loved it. All right, next message is from Alec. It says, "Hey guys, I was thinking the other day about how a lot of superhero movies have 2 or more villains. I was wondering, in your opinion, which 2 Batman villains are the most compatible for a team-up? Keep up the good work. Sincerely, Alec." Alec, very cool question. So, 2 Batman villains that you think make a great team, Brendan.
Riddler and Two-Face. No, I'm joking.
Duh. So obvious.
You know what? I joke, but something that's popping into my head that I don't know. I can't get it out now. Is I think if used correctly, Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze could actually work. Like if you, I don't know. There's just something. If it was like a less ridiculous story, obviously, than that movie, but I don't know. There's just something about those two where, if Mr. Freeze were slightly on more of a, like there could be something to do with, her developing a toxin or a cure or something. If we're going the Nora route, like for Nora. Take that, not so much the I'm going to cause an ice age and then it's the return of the plants, like that sort of thing. I mean, you could do the, particularly now with, the global warming and that sort of thing as it is, like you could go that route and it'd probably be a little bit better than it was back then. But yeah, I think more if you use her for the medicinal side of things, and then obviously Batman would become the thorn in the side and Freeze would obviously then get agitated because Ivy's just trying to help Nora. Yeah, I think that would be an interesting take, and maybe you could sort of, because they're not 2 villains that straight away you think would go together. But you could also maybe give a bit, right some of the wrongs that were done in the past.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question, and I'm trying to. I don't know if I have a great answer other than like obvious ones like Harley and Ivy. That's kind of a no-brainer. Yeah. I don't know. Like my brain kind of went towards like the Penguin and Two-Face because like they both sort of deal in organized crime, and I could see the Penguin I could see them like teaming up, and the Penguin being like, I'll take care of the families of Gotham, and you go out there and. You go out there and screw with the police or whatever. Or, like they could sort of split Gotham in half, if you will, and come at it from different sides, but they don't necessarily have to be opposed.
On the Two-Face side of things too.
Yeah. They don't necessarily, they could sort of work together. I also thought maybe like there's a way that Poison Ivy and Clayface could work together. Sort of the soil and the plants. Yep. She could be trying to help him in some way, regain his humanity, and at the same time he could help her. I don't know. I think there's maybe something there, but I haven't thought too much about it. But that's sort of off the top of my head.
Yeah, hey, that's pretty good.
All right. Cool. Next message is from Weston Craig. It says, "Hey, I was just listening to the last podcast, and you were talking about Sasha Calle. So this was when we did our little one about the Supergirl casting. He says, I was laughing pretty hard because I was born in 1995. It got me thinking about how old I was when I first discovered Batman. I first became a Bat fan when I saw him on the Batman animated series reruns and the Justice League cartoon when I was 6. When Justice League aired, it was a cartoon that was made. Wait, was it a cartoon that mainly kids watched, or did adults also watch it like Batman the Animated Series? Did any of you watch Justice League when it aired, or was it something that you came back to later? Thanks, Weston. Thanks, Weston. What do you think, Brendan? Do you think it was more kids or adults or both? And did you watch it when it first came out?
That's a tough one, because over here it didn't really air like a regular cartoon. I was 18, and because it came out in 2001, didn't it? I think from memory, Justice League started in 2001.
That sounds right.
Yeah. My introduction to the show was I stumbled across the DVD of, it was like Justice League, the movie or whatever, like where it was like the first 3 or 4 episodes put together.
Mm-hmm.
That was how I discovered it. And I was like, oh, cool, looks like a follow-on from Batman the Animated Series. So I bought it sight unseen and watched it, and that was that. Like, I didn't watch the cartoon. I did sort of in the a couple of years later, I discovered that they were putting on the cartoons at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning as kind of like filler. So I if they were, I never saw them, but like I never saw them on TV here as like a Saturday morning cartoon or like a come home from school sort of thing. Not that I could have watched it then anyway, because I was working at that point. But if it had have had like a normal, over here probably more a Saturday morning time slot, I think it would have been more kids that watched it, because it was sort of also right before that time where all this shit became really popular again. Like pop culture started ruling the world and the nerds took over. But yeah, I mean, the people who wanted to find it, like the adults who watched it, they would have found a way. But again, I'm just using Australia as an example. It was a bit odd over here for that one.
Yeah, well, because it was on Cartoon Network, so I could imagine that made it harder to export to other countries.
Yep.
So I do believe that, much like Batman the Animated Series, it was watched by both. I think kids watched it, and I think that grown-up nerds like us watched it too. At least that was my impression. And I watched it a bit during its initial release, but it was something that I didn't keep on top of as well as I would have liked, because I was living in Florida at the time. I was working really weird hours. It was when I was a performer. So it was one of those things where I would catch it when I could, but not as regularly as I would have liked. So it was one of those things that once the DVDs were released, I was really excited, because then I was able to watch it in its entirety.
Awesome.
All right, next message is from Julian Chan. It says, hi, I hope this message finds...
Guy.
Yeah, I know, right? He said... if you've already discussed my question, sorry about it, but I'm not sure if most of you have read the Vanity Fair article about the Snyder Cut, which we did talk about on the last episode. He says, not wanting to dwell on the negative, let's discuss the mind-blowing cameo in store for us in the finale. That's right, that was something we did not mention on the last episode, as he said something about a cameo at the end that would blow fans' minds. He said the smart money has to be on Green Lantern, right? Ryan Reynolds has denied that it's him. That said, I'm still hoping for Hal. I realize he was in the Suicide Squad, but I also thought Scott Eastwood would have made a great Hal. Do you think it's a Green Lantern? If so, which would you expect or like to see, and who would play him? What if the cameo was Blue Devil? I suspect that would only blow one person's mind. Anyway, ciao for now, Jazzy Jules. Thanks, Julian. What do you think, Brendan? Like, what cameo could blow people's minds?
Oh, I mean, like the safe money is on a Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
If it were Ryan Reynolds, it'd be pretty cool. I would really like it, but at the same time, it's kind of like, yeah, I the reputation that movie has, it's a little hard to bounce back from. Even though I quite like it, I enjoy the movie, but I don't know if they went a Lantern and they went Jon Stewart. I would not have a problem with that. I think that'd be really cool. It would offer a bit more diversity as well into the league. But I mean, don't ask me who I would like to play the role, because I'm terrible at these sort of things, particularly, on a whim.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I just think it's a Green Lantern, but I can't think of any. Because if you look at the Justice League, I mean, we know Martian Manhunter's in it, because, which is good, because I think we've said before, like, I've always preferred the Justice League. Nothing against Cyborg, but I prefer Martian Manhunter instead of Cyborg when they sort of swap those two out. The only sort of character missing is a Lantern, so I can't think of any other sort of character that I'd even want it to be.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I just don't know who else it would be. And Green Lantern makes sense. It's sort of the missing piece of the Justice League. I agree with you. Like, I think it would be great if it was Ryan Reynolds, but I'm certainly not holding my breath about it. That was a rumor that just, I think, kind of didn't make a lot of sense to me when it was floated out there. So yeah, I think that a lot of people were like, well, would it really be mind-blowing? Because we're expecting a Green Lantern at this point. And I'm like, well, yeah, but at the same time, like, who else is it going to be? So I agree. I don't know who would play it, but I'd be fine with Hal Jordan. I'd be fine with Jon Stewart. I mean, those are the two that I think are your best options. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Or Kilowog. Could be Kilowog. I could see that happening.
True.
So,
because, I mean, you have to, like, even the theatrical version had a lantern in it.
Yeah, right. All right, next message is from our pal Gaurav Venkataswar. He says, hey guys, have you seen Superman and Lois, and what did you think? I hope you'll review the pilot. I really enjoyed the take on the characters, exploring his family life, and what generally feels like a more cinematic approach for the DCCW shows. The writing, filming, and musical score are all great. That's all. Just keeping it relatively short and sweet. Thanks for all that you do with the podcast, Gaurav. Thanks, Gaurav, and I love that. We already did that. We already covered it. We told you what we thought.
Nice
Boom.
and easy.
Glad you liked it too. We agree. All right, next message is from Peter. It says, greetings, fellow Bat Brothers, from Peter in Illinois. It's been a while since I last emailed, but listening to your latest episode talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League, I had a thought. I hope asking does not start a social media hurricane. Do you think Ben Affleck's Batman will die in the film? I thought that in Snyder's original plan, that Batman was going to buy the Bat Farm in Justice League 2. I hope not to see the demise of one of the best cinematic Batmen, but I will understand the sacrifice Batman was making in the original Justice League. Sorry for the dark question, but if he does die, it might help to explain multiple Batmen in The Flash. Thanks for all the work you do, and keep the bat signal shining bright in the darkness. Peter. Thanks, Peter, and hello to Illinois as well. Home. I miss it. What do you think, Brendan? You think Ben Affleck's Batman could die in Justice League?
It's a possibility, because we sort of heard the master plan that he would, kick the bucket in one of the movies. I don't want to see it happen. I never want to see Batman die. That's just not, it doesn't compute with me. But I don't know. I don't think in this one, but with the reshoot, I mean, yeah, they sort of said with the reshoots they didn't shoot that much stuff, so I'm going to say a very hopeful no.
Yeah, I honestly don't think so. I think because that was supposed to happen later, that was supposed to happen in another film, and if what they said is true, they only reshot the nightmare scene, then I would think no. I also think, we were talking about those promotional videos. In the promotional Batman video, it was a very long shot of Batman standing on top of the tank, the War Machine from The Dark Knight Returns. And that made me believe that shot might be the final shot of Batman in the film.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So my money's also on no. I could see it happening, like if this was really going to be the end, I could see them trying to find a way to give that closure, but I think Zack Snyder also said it's going to end on a cliffhanger, so that's great.
Yeah, he did say that, so that's spectacular.
So, yeah.
Hashtag cul-de-sac.
All right. Next message is from Chris, the Objective Geek. It says, hey, I know you're not into anime and Ninja Batman didn't help, but as an anime fan, I want to assure you that it's amazing. Here are a few recommendations. If you like zombie stories with a hint of Game of Thrones and historical commentary, Attack on Titan is a must-watch. The anime Death Note is like a crime thriller, and if you like superheroes, and we know you do, you should watch My Hero Academia. It really explores the Superman archetype and what it means to be a symbol of peace. Also, the American cartoon Avatar: The Last Airbender, best show of all time, in my opinion, is a great gateway into anime. Related question. What not well-known superhero-related story, comic, movie, show, etc. do you wish more people should watch or read? For me, it's iZombie on the CW. Thanks. Keep up the great work. All right, Chris. Thanks, Chris. Always good to hear from you. So I appreciate the recommendations for anime. I don't have anything against it. It's just not my thing. So, Brendan,
I
thoughts?
second that.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially just literally what you said, yeah.
And then, but this is kind of a fun question. So, like something that is sort of superhero related, but is not super well known that more people should check out. That's like a kind of a hidden gem, whether it be a movie, a comic, a TV show, or something. What do you think, Brendan?
God, I really wish you'd submit these questions to me sooner than when we record. Mate, I really don't know off the top of my head.
I mean, I wouldn't call these not well known, but I think that a lot of fans haven't necessarily given them a chance. And I'd say Batman Brave and the Bold. I mean, obviously we've been talking about how much we love that for years now, but I still think a lot of people haven't given it a chance, and I think you should. We recently got a tweet from a listener who finally jumped into Young Justice, which was exciting because I'm like, yes, Young Justice, it's so great. I would also...
With that train of thought,
go ahead.
potentially The Batman, the animated show.
Yeah.
Definitely, for me, yeah.
Yeah. And I'd also say The Flash from 1990. I mean, we did an episode about it on this show, but I love that show. And if you've not checked that out, I think it's definitely worth your time.
One that maybe younger people haven't watched that is a good, fun comic book movie is The Phantom.
Yeah, I like The Phantom.
And even Dick Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
Dick Tracy as well. That's another good one.
I brought it up on a recent episode, The Losers.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I still haven't watched that.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people have seen The Losers, so I would say watch that too.
I did try and find it one of the days I was sick, but it's not on any streaming service here that I could find. So.
Oh, bummer. All right, cool. Next message. Oh, it's Julian Chan again. He's following up. He says, "Hey guys."
Oh, for Christ's sake!
I know, Julian. Come on. He says, following up on my email about the cameo in Justice League, I remember seeing a cutscene image of Orion Lee as Brandon Choi. Brandon Choi? Is it Brandon Choi? Anyway, so the cameo would be the Atom, though I'm not sure how mind-blowing that would be. Speaking of which, what if it was actually Orion from the New Gods? Now, that would blow my mind. Take care. Keep up the great work. What the heck is the Atom's name that's not Ray? I don't think it's Brandon Choi, but now I'm going to look it up. Oh, man.
Ryan Choi.
Ryan Choi. There we go. I was like, God, I can't get it. Thank you. Yes, great point. I do remember seeing a photo of him. So that could be it, too. That would be cool. And then Orion from the New Gods. Yeah, that could also be pretty badass.
I mean, as far as I know, the Atom's going to be in the whole movie.
Oh, yeah?
You're just not going to see him.
Just hiding in the back? Just a little tiny Atom?
Yep.
All right. We got a message from my neighbor Burrito. Okay. Remember, he became a patron not that long ago, and I was like, I don't know your name, just my neighbor Burrito. But he says, good day to Andy, Jamie, and hopefully Brendan. Oh, he likes you, Brendan.
Nice.
Because he's an
I've
Aussie.
got a fan.
He's another Aussie.
Oh, cool.
He said, I want to correct a typo from my first email. I meant to say I was a Bat fan from Australia, and autocorrect made a fool of me. I didn't mean to say I was the Aussie Batman. My question this time is if any of you fellas have recently reread the Contagion or Legacy runs. I read them again last year for the first time since the 90s, and they really hit differently considering the current situation. Also, I forgot how much I loved Kelly Jones's art. The massive ears and cape are just too good. Thanks for keeping me company through a tough time. I've nearly caught up on all the BatCast, and it's a bit sad I'll have to wait for new episodes. Bonus question for Jamie. Jamie's not here. Sorry. It says, if Bruce Wayne were to have a separate building for the Batwing and his various Bat planes, what do you think he would call it? I love it. I love it.
Well done.
He says, all the best. I hope you and your loved ones are doing well. Love from Australia. Cameron. So Cameron, my neighbor Burrito's name is Cameron. Thank you, Cameron. I don't think I've ever read Contagion or Legacy.
No, me either.
So there you go. But I can only imagine with a name like Contagion, reading it now, I could see kind of like the episode of Batman Beyond we watched. Hits a little too close to home. But
too real.
Yeah. All right, next question. It's from Hash. It says, hey guys, I was wondering if you would ever cover Nightwing, The New Order. It's a great book, and you should check it out. Thanks, Hash. Thanks, Hash. Absolutely. We've talked about this maybe about a year ago. Someone else recommended it too, and I read it, and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, it's definitely something we should do on the show, but definitely worth the time. So I'll just add another vote for Nightwing, The New Order. Brendan, you probably haven't watched it yet.
Read it?
Have you read
watched
it?
Or read it?
Read it. Nightwing, The New Order.
Okay, you said watched it. I was like,
did I?
Was it a comic? Yeah.
Oh, it's a comic. My bad. Sometimes my brain and my mouth don't get along. They fight.
I can't recall. I'm not 100% certain if maybe I got it on Comixology when it was originally mentioned. But if that is the case, I still haven't read it.
Okay. It's good. It's worth it. Yes, we should do something about it. All right. What's next? It's Odile Jones. It says, hey guys, apologies for the long email, but I need to properly explain my thoughts. So I'm really excited about the casting announcements about the Flash movie, but I'm also a bit concerned. The announcements are cool, but we know very little that's concrete about the movie itself. And it's supposed to shoot in less than 2 months. We don't even know or have rumors on the basic sense of the plot, aside from the multiverse, who the villain is, who's playing Nora Allen. Is Iris West involved, and is Kiersey Clemons playing her? Are they rewriting Cyborg since he was apparently a significant part of the film, or are they replacing him with another character? Maybe it's Lockdown and how time doesn't exist anymore, but I'm pretty sure we had a lot more solid information about the Batman and Wonder Woman 1984, including the finalized main cast and basic synopsis months before they went into production. Also, the more we get the castings and cameo announcements, I think that's not even half of them. As Barbara Muschietti said at Fandom, there are a lot of DC characters. The less this movie feels like a Flash movie about Barry Allen and his journey, and the more it feels like a soft reboot of the entire DCU. Personally, I don't mind that. I'm a fan. My investment is guaranteed, but that's a lot to throw on a general audience who don't really know the character. Especially as to my knowledge, the general audience is still about evenly split on whether or not they like Ezra Miller's Flash. I hope that'll change for the better after the Snyder Cut, but wouldn't it be better for him to have his own solo movie to shine so audiences could get to know him and the world before doing all the multiverse stuff? What are your thoughts? As always, you rock. Odile. Thanks, Odile. Brendan? What do you think?
Yep. I think we will find out all that stuff when they're ready to tell us. Yeah, I mean, because a movie starts shooting doesn't necessarily mean that every single person has to be in place either. Like, I mean, when they say they start shooting, like, what are they shooting? It could be anything. Yeah, Yeah, I mean, I'm not too concerned. I've sort of made my feelings known about the, characters and stuff in the film as well. Like, BVS sounded very bloated, and essentially a Justice League movie when you heard of all the characters that are going to be in it. But like I said, Flash, Aquaman, Cyborg, and stuff like that are in it for 30 seconds to a minute each. That's being generous. So I mean, you don't know how they're going to do it, but I'm not concerned, and all that other stuff like plot and everything, like we'll find out all in good time.
Yeah. I mean, I will disagree a little bit on some of this. Is like we didn't know what the plot was for the Batman before they started shooting, or Wonder Woman 1984. We certainly had a finalized cast list, but there's still time for that for the Flash. So I think that's not entirely apples to apples there, but also like. There's no rule that says they have to give us that stuff. I mean, in fact, it's kind of better if there are some surprises that they're able to preserve that we can enjoy when we see the movie. So I'm also okay with that too. I do understand, some of the fans who were concerned about like, oh, is it so much of a Flash movie or is it more of something else? And I think it's going to be both. And that's the challenge that Andy and Barbara Muschietti accepted when they took on this movie and decided to make it the way they're making it. Is they think they can balance that. They think they can balance making it a Barry Allen Flash movie and also a greater DC Universe movie. And I'm willing to let them. I'm willing to let them try, and I'm willing to see how that goes before I decide if it was a mistake or not. So I feel like we're putting the cart before the horse a little bit by getting too concerned too quickly. Most of the stuff is pretty cool and it's pretty exciting, and I'm into it. So let them keep some surprises, and we will get that information when the time is right. For now, I'm excited it's moving forward. I can't wait to see it, and yeah, I'm not mad about not knowing every detail at this point. All right, next message is from Mark Bickford. It says, hey guys, Andy, you'll be glad to know that an unnamed source at Cosmic Coverage has reported that Maxwell Lord has granted your wish, and the intermission music will be made available with Zack Snyder's Justice League. The twist is it will be embedded at the halfway point of the movie. It'll be coded like a commercial, so there's no way to skip it or fast forward, and the actual music is a 10-minute long live version of Leonard Cohen singing Hallelujah. Enjoy. That's just mean. It says, first question, which home video release are you most looking forward to? Zack Snyder's Justice League, Justice is Gray in glorious black and white, or the IMAX formatted remaster of BVS? Next, Titans is bringing in Tim Drake, but we can't let him be lonely. Who is your casting pick for Stephanie Brown? And finally, based either on Batfleck or Battinson, let's hear your pitch for one or more movies that get us to Tim Drake Robin. Who should play him, and how do we convince Chloe Grace Moretz to play Stephanie? You aren't allowed to use her for Titans, though, because she ain't doing TV. Have a great week, Mark. Oh, Mark, okay. First question, the black and white Justice League or the IMAX remaster of BVS? The remaster of BVS, because I said I don't get the fascination. I don't get the fascination with watching a big, huge superhero movie in black and white. That just doesn't sound fun to me at all. So yeah, definitely the BVS remaster.
Change your TV settings or something if you want to watch it in black and white.
Yeah.
Essentially, you can watch any movie in black and white. It's not that hard.
Right. I don't get it. So I don't have a casting pick for Stephanie Brown. And considering how Titans casting has gone, it's probably they're going to cast someone I wouldn't have thought of anyway, because they tend to cast lesser-known actors anyway.
They go for unknowns, but I don't know. Put Millie Bobby Brown in there. She's the right age. She's a great actress. She fit in that show.
Yeah, great. I'm good with that.
She's my go-to.
That's perfect. And then a pitch for movies that get us to Tim Drake Robin.
I don't know.
I mean,
with Pattinson, we need to have Dick first.
Yeah. And I feel like I've sort of pitched it like a Batman and Robin trilogy, where the first movie is about Bruce and Dick, the second's about Bruce and Jason, and the third is about Bruce and Tim. And I think that's how you do it. You really make it, you make the through line and the evolution about Robin, and you can focus on a different Robin, and then the third one really becomes about how Tim helps heal Batman after the death of Jason. So that's my thought. All right, next message is from Martin. It says, hey, do you have any idea how much a movie makes in the cinema versus DVD, Blu-ray, etc.? Where do they make more money between the two? I love the show. Continue the great work. P.S. I was born in 1984, so I love Batman Forever, like Brendan when it came out,
Same age as me.
even if it didn't age well for me. Now BVS and The Dark Knight are my favorite for different reasons. All right, cool. Honestly, more money tends to be made in, at least prior to COVID, in the theatrical release. Because, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I've seen things where it's like, Man of Steel made whatever it was, $650 million worldwide in its theatrical release. And then it made like $150 million in home video sales. So like even there you see like a huge discrepancy, but there's so many like revenue streams that then also start getting counted into the gross of a movie. So yes, it's the theatrical gross, but remember that the theaters only get to keep a portion of that. The studios only get to keep a portion of that because the theaters take a cut. That's what I'm trying to say. And then, yeah, like home video and everything, that's a revenue stream. Rentals, streaming rentals, that's a revenue stream. When they license it out to Netflix or a streaming service, that becomes a revenue stream. But now that they have their own streaming service, they might not be getting money from Netflix to show their movie. So there's that. It's, Hollywood accounting is some sort of dark magic, and it's all very shady. But I think the answer to your question is they still net more profit from the theatrical release than they do from home video. I believe that is true.
So it's more, I think, with home video too, it's potentially more the audience you can pick up, that can lead to bigger things. Like I've used it before as an example on here, like Batman Begins. It found its audience on home video and made The Dark Knight, one of the most anticipated movies of that year because the audience was clamoring for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then there's merchandise and just a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
All right, next message is from Tyler Gardner. It says, hey, I hopefully you'll get this before the Snyder Cut. Recently, my wife wanted to watch the Justice League theatrical cut to compare it to Zack Snyder's Justice League. I wasn't excited to watch it, but since she was going to, I went ahead and sat down and watched it with her. I really enjoyed it, just as I remember liking it a lot when it was originally released. I realized the only reason I was so down on the movie is because of all the negativity around it ever since the release. I went back to the Holy BatCast episode where you guys reviewed it, and you were all very positive on it then. So my question is, how does the theatrical cut hold up for you after a few years of public discord and controversy? Keep up the great pods. Tyler. Good question, Tyler. Brendan?
You only watched it the past week, didn't you?
No, I didn't actually watch it. I was just being a smartass.
Oh, you were just being a shit.
I was just stirring the pot. I didn't actually watch it.
Oh, I thought you did.
No.
I've said it on here before. Like, I can still watch it and enjoy it. I haven't watched it maybe 7 or 8 months. It's one of those things. Obviously when we recorded it, that episode, the shit hadn't yet hit the fan for that movie either.
Yeah.
It was still really early where it was like people had seen it, people were saying they liked it, because I remember as clear as anything, we recorded that on the Saturday, my time, and then it was the Monday morning, my time, I woke up when it was just like, oh, this is how it's going to be. Okay. And it did take the shine off of it a little bit, but it's going to be interesting because I have never watched the theatrical version of BVS since the cinema.
Mm-hmm.
I have only ever watched the Ultimate Edition because to me it's the more complete movie. In the future, if I want to watch Justice League, like, I mean, obviously I know you can break it down and watch it, the first part and then the second part, but it's a big time commitment,
Mm-hmm.
And maybe sometimes I might only have a short amount of time, and I can watch a complete. I say complete, you know what I mean? Like a complete Justice League movie in 2 hours or whatever, just under whatever that time was. And I think too, it's essentially going to be like, well, it's literally going to be 2 different movies.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a testament to see if I watch that again in the future, and if I do, how often I watch it in the future. But if there was never a Snyder Cut controversy and that was the movie we got, like the movie was the movie, I'd probably be okay with it. So, yeah, I almost want to reserve judgment until until I see the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
But I don't hate it like other people do. Like I said in that episode, to me it plays like a 2-hour live action Justice League cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
For
Yeah.
better or worse.
Yeah. I agree with you. I haven't watched it in a long time. I haven't watched it in probably well over a year. And it's just because I haven't felt like it because of what you mentioned, because of all the argument and the drama and and just what went down. I just haven't had the desire to watch it. But yeah, when I first saw it, I mean, I loved it. I was like, I was so excited. I was so happy with it. And so, yeah, it's a little embarrassing to go back and go, oh my God, I raved about it. And now look everything that's happened. But all that said, do I think if I watched it tonight, I would still get some enjoyment out of it? Yeah, I do. I don't hate it the way so many fans hate it. I don't hate it with the passion of 1,000 burning suns. I still think there's a lot of things to enjoy in that movie. And so, yeah, I'm sure I could still enjoy it on that level. I still think it's a pretty entertaining Justice League movie. Is it the best possible Justice League movie? No, it's not. And it will be interesting that, yeah, once we get this new version, am I ever going to go back to the theatrical one? I don't know. I just don't know. But yeah, I've always sort of been in this weird place where I thought it was pretty good. A lot of that shine has come off of it because of everything that happened after, which is why I haven't felt the need to revisit it. But yeah, I still don't think it's the travesty that a lot of other folks do. I think it's not so bad.
No. Like, I'll be honest, that's how I was kind of like that with BVS for a little while. Even though I said, like, I do really like the Ultimate Edition, just the baggage that surrounded that movie for quite some time after it had come out. Like, I obviously like it, but yeah, like, it just sort of sucks the fun out of watching, or even like wanting to watch it.
Yeah. Which
is a shame.
Yep, I know. I mean, that even happened with me in Man of Steel for a little while. It was just because I got, it didn't. It's not because I didn't like the movie or anymore. It was just what would happen is I'd be watching the movie and would like be internally debating the parts of the movie with the people who hated it, even though they weren't there, and I was just trying to watch the movie. It like became this weird internal distraction while I was just trying to watch the movie, and I think it will be the same if I put on Justice League tonight.
Yeah, I've never had that with Man of Steel, but that's perfectly worded exactly how I felt with BVS.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just it's a shame that all of that baggage then does detract, and of course you don't want it to, and you try to not make it, but sometimes you can't help it; it's still there.
I'm not going to lie, there was a little bit of that with Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah. Yep.
I didn't see it a third time in the cinema. I really wanted to, but I just didn't.
Mm-hmm. All right, next message is from Brian B. It says, hey guys, I hope you're doing well. Hopefully, I'm still allowed to send emails after my controversial DC Marvel question about a month ago, which I meant to be good discussion, but it didn't exactly go over well. I meant no disrespect. You guys rock. I don't think we took offense at it. It's just,
No.
it's just always a loaded
I thought it
thing.
led to good discussion too.
Yeah. He goes, anyway, my email's in regards to a potential show idea. With March Madness on the way and every site doing brackets for every pop culture thing you can imagine, my idea for a show is a Sweet 16 bracket of Batman movies, animated or live action. I recall you did something along those lines a while back with the Bat villains. After the voting and elimination has been done, you guys could do a post-bracket show discussing what surprised you and how you'd vote. Maybe even get Dickie V to show up to bring some energy to the show. Dickie V. I don't get that reference. I'm sorry, Brian. Do you get that, Brendan?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, I don't get it. Maybe it's a sports thing. Sorry. He said, anyway, my final four would be the Dark Knight trilogy and Mask of the Phantasm. Second, you guys could erase all of your memories of one show you hold dearly and experience it all over again. What would it be? Personally, it would be The Wire, but The Simpsons would be a very close second, especially the Golden Age seasons 2 through 9, with Chappelle being a distant third. Lastly, Brendan, best of luck with the newborn on the way. I don't have children, but
Thank you.
But do note every one of my buddies who have kids always talk about how awesome it is, even though they only get 2 hours of sleep a week. Good luck with that and the future Bat fan. As always, thanks for the hard work. Stay safe, Brian. All right, thanks, Brian. So, like a bracket for Batman movies, that could be fun. I'm open to that.
I like that. I like those kind of episodes.
Yeah, those are really fun. Something a little different. I think that's a good idea. And then a TV show you want to experience for the first time again, Brendan.
The first one that pops into my head is Stranger Things.
Ah, that makes sense.
I love that show so much.
I'm leaning towards Game of Thrones, which is funny because I came late to that anyway, and so I was experiencing things years after everyone else did, but still, like, that ride was a hell of a ride, and like I stayed mostly unspoiled, which was really cool. And so but like that show, man, like, it always kept you guessing. It was always exciting. And so, like, that was part of the fun of it, was never knowing what would happen next. So that's what jumps to my head. That doesn't mean there aren't others. I'm sure there are, but that's the one that immediately jumps.
You know what the correct answer is for us, don't you?
Batman the Animated Series?
Golden Girls.
Oh, obviously. Golden Girls. All right, next message is from Carl. It says, hey guys, I just like your thoughts on what I heard someone had said. Once they recast Wolverine in the MCU with a new actor, that actor won't get the same backlash like other actors do that play Batman or Superman or other DC characters. Is it true that even if there was a recast in the MCU for certain characters, it wouldn't get the backlash the way DC does? Thanks, Carl. See, just picking up that baton from Brian and bringing the Marvel loaded questions. What do you think, Brendan? Do you think when they start recasting like really iconic Marvel roles, do you think they will receive the same scrutiny as DC characters?
Well, because Marvel can do no wrong, no. I'm kidding, kind of. I mean, Wolverine's the big one. I mean, Hugh Jackman played him for, was it 17 years or something? Like, that's a big, that's a long time for anyone to play any role. I think that's the one that's going to be under the microscope the most. I mean, there's been 3 Spider-Men.
Yeah, that's true. That's a great point.
Seems to have not been an issue. It depends too, like, how things go. Like, if there's ever not some, maybe not in this series of films, but if there's another Iron Man, another Cap, like, those things are going to be very interesting. But I remember back in the day, they were talking about Iron Man potentially being like James Bond, like anyone could play the role. But then what happened, and that's not going to happen. But yeah, I see what you're saying, but I think the Spider-Man example kind of answers the question, but like I said, Wolverine's going to be the big one, and maybe Magneto.
Mm-hmm.
Even
But
though
even
there's
he
been
got
two of them
recast.
already
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
He did, yeah.
I guess it depends. I do think that, like, I mean, you bring up a great point with Spider-Man, is that's happened a couple times now, and people have pretty much rolled with it. But I don't. I haven't seen. I feel like there was not a lot of backlash on the casting of Superman. You know, like with Brandon Routh and with Henry Cavill, I didn't see a lot of like backlash. I saw a lot of like, oh, who's that? You know, there was a little bit of that, but not necessarily like, oh no, this is going to be horrible. It was more just, I don't know that guy, but and then their reputation was
an unknown.
Yeah, their reputation was more about the reception to the movie than it was the actual casting. With Batman, I think, God, I feel like obviously there was Michael Keaton backlash way back when, but there wasn't a lot of backlash with Val Kilmer, not with George Clooney even. Like, people at that point, everyone's like, okay, well, sure, whatever, another one. I think the biggest backlash was Ben Affleck, just because Ben Affleck came with a lot of his own baggage. I think because even Robert Pattinson came with not nearly as much as I would have expected. So I guess
that was surprising.
Yeah. So I guess the point I'm making is, if they recast a Wolverine or an Iron Man or a Captain America, I think for the most part people will go with it. But if they present those characters in a very different way than what's expected, will they receive the same sort of backlash that some of the DCs have? That's a good question. I don't know. So, I mean, I think you want an answer, but I don't know the answer. That will be very interesting to see, where if they're like, oh, we're going to reboot Iron Man, and this time Iron Man is going to, I don't know, I can't think. Like, they're going to really do the demon in the bottle story or something and make him an even bigger a-hole than he already was in the initial movies, or something where he completely crosses the line, and like where they really push it and make it super dark. Are people going to reject that the way they did with Ben Affleck's Batman, who has crossed the line, who sort of lost his way? Maybe. Certainly possible.
Yeah.
So I think it's less about the actor and it's more about what they decide they want to do with the character, and if that goes up against what now people have built up in their minds of, oh no, this is the way this character should be.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, next email. Oh, it's from Tony Hall. It says, hey guys, first I wanted to thank you for having me on the show a while back. I really appreciated it. You guys made it so easy to talk to, and you made me feel very welcome. Well, Tony, it was our pleasure. He goes, here's my question, inspired by similar questions from Disorder, so apologies if it's been asked before. Which Batman storylines in comics or graphic novels do you consider overrated or underrated? When people tend to rank the top Batman stories, you tend to see the same one on everyone's lists. For me, overrated is The Killing Joke. It feels more like a Joker story than a Batman one, and while I appreciate the artwork, I just can't get past the overall tone and the ending. For underrated, I've always liked Year 2. Sure, the basic story was taken and then improved upon in Mask of the Phantasm, but I've always loved the design of the Reaper. He just looks cool, especially next to Todd McFarlane's Batman. I don't understand why the Reaper or Phantasm hasn't been brought back more often. I think there's potential. Keep up the amazing work. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on Snyder's Justice League. I'm looking forward to the review roundtable almost as much as the movie itself. Thanks again, Tony. Thank you, Tony. I think for the Year 2 underrated thing, I think Jamie Drewley might have written this, because I feel like that's pretty much what he would. Yeah, pretty much what he said. The same thing. I think he felt exactly the same way. So, Tony, I think you and Jamie, two peas in a pod. What do you think, Brendan? Over and underrated Batman stories?
I think I wish I still had my comic shelf in the room that I'm recording.
So you could look at it.
Used to be able to just spin around and look at it. Yeah. Overrated. Oh God. Anything Grant Morrison's done?
Oh, I'll say my overrated because I've said it
You
before.
can dive in, yeah, I'm thinking.
I've said it before, and it's not made me the most popular kid in school, but year one just does nothing for me. I don't particularly like it. I don't like the changes to the characters. I don't, it's just more like Frank Miller. Everything's ultra gritty, and Bruce is gritty, and Selena's a prostitute, and Gordon's cheating on his wife, and everyone's an a-hole, and I'm just not a fan. And I also just think like the Batman stuff in it isn't all that compelling either. Like, yeah, people love year one. I don't. I'm not a big fan. I think the best parts of year one were used in Batman Begins, and everything they didn't include was best not included.
You're definitely right about the Batman Begins thing. Yeah, man, I can't think of a specific example. Like, I could say something that would really, really be unpopular, but it's not. I don't think the book itself is overrated, but I find The Dark Knight Returns really hard to read. Like, I just find it a chore to read. Like, I can sit down and watch those two movies any day of the week and just absolutely love it. But I find the book a chore. I think I'm struggling to think of an example here because if there's a lot of stuff that I just don't read because it doesn't take my fancy. The Killing Joke, I will agree with to a point. I don't like how that made sort of, because it's meant to be like a standalone story, but then like the Barbara being paralyzed thing became canon.
Mm-hmm.
But underrated, I'm sort of struggling to think of too.
Well, I'll give an
Paul
underrated.
Dini's detective run is really good. I don't really hear people talk about that very often, but it was good. And some of the Batman Confidential stories were quite good too.
Okay. Yeah, I think for underrated, I'll say something just because I finally got around to reading it, and I was actually impressed with how much I liked it, and I feel like it should be more discussed, and that's Dark Victory. I finally gave that one a shot, and I thought it was just as good as The Long Halloween. It was like a totally.
Oh, you never read that?
No, that was one of those. We talked about it.
Wow.
We talked about it not that long ago. Of like books that like we always mean to read and never do. And I said, yeah, I still haven't read Dark Victory. It's been sitting there on my iPad for years, and I just haven't started it. And so finally, a couple weeks ago, I was like, now's the time. I'm gonna read it. And like I thought it was like a
third one. Like it was. Is it Haunted Night?
Yeah.
Have you read that?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's another one that I've owned, and I keep every Halloween. I'm like, I should read this, and then I don't.
Okay, fair enough.
But no, I finally read Dark Victory, and I went, wow, that is a great sequel to The Long Halloween. And when people do like their top Batman stories, The Long Halloween is always there, and Dark Victory isn't. And I'm like, I think they're just as good as each other. So I'm not saying that The Long Halloween is underrated. I think it's terrific, but I think Dark Victory should be right there with it.
You're not wrong.
So, yeah. All right. Okay, next message is from James. It says, hey guys, questions. As the Snyder Cut is vastly approaching, I was thinking when you get to doing the review, would you be doing it in 4 parts or one whole 4-hour episode? I can imagine the thought of doing a 4-hour episode would be hard work. And now that Snyder released the chapters, maybe an episode per chapter. All good questions, James. We have to figure that out too. Like we said earlier.
On that.
Yeah.
But recording for 4 hours is nothing. Have you heard a Disorder episode? Jesus.
And then it says, second question is, at the end of the film, there's news that there will be a cameo to make hardcore fans crazy. So who would you like to see cameo at the end of Justice League? Thanks for all that you do. Hands down the best podcast out there. Long live the BatCast. Thanks, James. That's very nice of you to say. So we said who we thought the cameo might be, but what he's saying is like, let's say you had a wish, you could wish any DC character to be that cameo, who should it be?
These questions really hard tonight.
Your brain's just not working tonight.
Probably.
Somebody have a long week.
Column A to column B. Oh man, it's so hard because, like I said, like when you look at the Justice League, like it's missing a lantern. So I mean, I know I could have. If you're asking me to choose anyone, it is hard to go past a lantern. It just really is, because it to me it completes the ensemble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And otherwise, I mean, all my favorite DC characters are kind of in there anyway. So I'm just still sticking with the lantern. I know it's a boring answer, but it's the only one I can think of.
All right. I mean, aside from Blue Devil, which is
obviously
obvious, but it should be Blue Devil. You know who could surprise me at the end, and I would flip my wig? Either a Robin or a Nightwing.
That's true. I mean, I don't think of them when I think of Justice League.
I know, but
you're right.
It would be unexpected, but not out of the realm of possibility, and I would be like super into it, obviously.
Definitely.
So, but yes, smart money's still on a lantern. All right, well that's it for emails. But guess what, Brendan?
Do we have a call?
We have a call.
Oh wow!
Can you believe it?
That's been a while,
right? It's been like 100 years. I got an email from that Google Voice being like, if you don't start using this, we're just gonna reassign it to someone who will use it, because we just kind of let it lapse. Seemed like a good idea, but most people didn't want to use it, and then it just became more trouble than it was worth. But it's still out there, and we got a call. So this call is from our friend Chris, the Objective Geek. So not only did he write in, he also called in. So let's see what Chris has to say.
Hey, Holy BatCast crew. I hope you all are doing very well. I just have a statement/question. It is Black History Month, and I wanted to just kind of call out and highlight one of my favorite creators, comic creators, or just superhero creators of all time, and that is Wayne McDuffie. Today is actually his birthday, but he passed away about 10 years ago. But he is most famous for creating the Milestone universe, which includes characters like Static, or as people wrongly say, Static Shock, and Icon, and Rocket, and Hardware, and the Crime Syndicate, and the list goes on and on. Also, he's written plenty of Marvel and DC comics. He was a story editor and writer on the cartoon Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. Just so really want to highlight his career. I mean, he also was just a brilliant mind that is forever missed. My question, though, is what is your favorite episode or moment from the Justice League series, since that has to do with him? Mine would definitely have to be the episode Epilogue, which kind of cap ends the whole entire DC animated universe, really, with capping off the Batman Beyond story, and it has one of my favorite Batman moments of all time of him swinging on the swing with Ace. But let me know what yours is. So thank you all for all you do. You guys are amazing. Keep up the great work.
All right, thank you, Chris. And sorry that we are just getting to it now. You called in for Black History Month, which was February. We are now well into March, so sorry about that. But hey, we can let Black History Month continue into March. And yeah, great call celebrating the life and work of Dwayne McDuffie. What's so crazy, we must have had some sort of psychic link, because a couple of weeks ago, it was still February, I randomly was like scrolling through my movies trying to figure out something to watch. And I watched Justice League Doom.
You son of a bitch.
What?
That's yeah, keep going.
No, so I hadn't watched it since it came out. And it was one of those where I was like, why have I not revisited this one? And so I rewatched it, and I loved it. And it was Dwayne McDuffie. And then at the end, it was like dedicated to him, because I guess that's when he passed. And it was just a random choice. I didn't even do it intentionally, but I was like, oh yeah. So it was just really cool that the way that lined up. And I forgot how good that movie is. And we've never covered it on the show. So I think we need to at some point. But yeah, Brendan, sorry.
Oh, that was going to be my choice for, like, you know, when he asked for a favorite episode, I was actually going to say, you know, it's not obviously an episode, but if my memory serves, the plot of Justice League Doom is what Dwayne had put out there for a potential third season of Justice League it was like a fourth season of Justice League or a third season of Justice League Unlimited. Anyway, it was like that premise that they then condensed down into, like, you know, into a movie. So that was meant to be a Justice League season. And I too, like, I really like that movie. I haven't seen it for a while, but I'm 99.99% positive the bonus features of that movie release had a documentary about Dwayne McDuffie as well.
Oh, nice.
Which I watched when the movie first came out, and it was really nice and touching as well. But yeah, in terms of obviously there's heaps of episodes that are really, really good. But just to shed light on something else of his that I reckon's excellent, that doesn't ever really get talked about, is Justice League Doom.
Yeah, well, I didn't mean to steal your thunder there. It was just literally...
That's right, because when I was listening to the call, I'm like, I'm going to talk about Justice League Doom. I'm going to take a different approach. Then you're just like, I watched Justice League Doom. I'm like, you motherfucker.
Sorry. No, I mean, Dwayne McDuffie, like, he added so much to the DC universe through his writing, and I just remember that was such a big loss when he did pass away. So I love that you wanted to shine the light on him. But yeah, so favorite, like, episode or part of the Justice League animated series is tough. There are a lot of good ones. I feel like we answered this somewhat recently too. Like, yes, the Batman moment in Epilogue is a classic. It's just, yeah, one of the great Batman moments. I really liked when they did...
I also don't know what he's written as, like, if
which ones were
moments,
his.
I don't know if he wrote them. Yeah,
I don't know which ones are his either. I'd have to pull it up. But I really liked, like, the Justice Lords, those episodes. That was really cool, which was kind of like the Injustice League. Or the Crime Syndicate. Like, I thought those were really cool episodes. The ones where they become kids, is that called Kid Stuff? Something like that?
I think so.
That one was fun.
Date Night's a favorite of mine.
Yeah. What about the Man Who Has Everything? Was that Justice League or was that Superman the Animated Series? I feel like it was Justice League.
That was Justice League?
Yeah.
Because Wonder Woman's in it.
Because Batman and Wonder Woman were in it. Like, that was a great one. Mm-hmm. You know, obviously, it was just one of the great stories, but it was so cool to see it done in animation. So, yeah, those are the ones off the top of my head. Yeah. There was another really good time travel one where they go to the future, and it's like the Justice League of the future, and it's Terry McGinnis and... a Hawkman, and I remember that one was really good too.
Yeah. Also like the Booster Gold episode too.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Squeaky wheel.
So, awesome, Chris. No, thank you for the call. Thanks for using the voicemail line. That's fun. So, fun little surprise. But yeah, very cool. But anyway, there you go. Guess what? We managed to catch up on the Wayne Manor Mailbox.
Yay!
Hooray! We did it! For now. So there we go. That is where we're going to wrap up the episode then. Brendan, thanks as always for joining.
Not a problem, my friend.
Tell everyone where they can find you if they want to.
You can find me on Twitter at Loey007.
Great. If you already told you where to find me, so never mind. Do that. Do what I said. That'll do it for this episode of the show. Thanks as always for downloading that. Please do subscribe so you never miss an episode. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. And as Michael Keaton's Batman says, I want you to tell all your friends about me. Visit holybatcast.com, like our Holy BatCast page on Facebook, or find us on Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube, Holy BatCast. If you've got a message for the Wayne Manor Mailbox, we will get to it eventually, even if it's a month late. You can send those to holybatcast@rf4rm.com. Or if you really want to use the voicemail line, it's there. It's 323-366-9246. That'll do it. On behalf of Brendan, I've been Andy. This has been Holy BatCast. We'll see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Holy BatCast is brought to you by real fans for real movies. Remember, the thoughts and opinions shared by the participants are theirs and theirs alone, and do not represent the companies or organizations they happen to work for.
You didn't think you were real.
Your guilt's have become your reason.
Hate is useless.
I will come for my great prize.
If you want the Batman, here is something that can help you.
I have a stake in this world, and it's time I started fighting for it.
You've fulfilled your promise. I spent a lot of time trying to divide us. I need to bring us together and make this right.